Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. Over the weekend, we got this sad news from the Chief Medical Director of Lagos State University Teaching Hospital, Professor Adetokunbo Fabamwo, who said that about 35% of LASUTH nurses have eased themselves out of work. They've lost 35%. He said this, that about almost on a daily basis, he has to sign 3 to 4 resignation letters. He mentioned how, even though he has discussed with the governor has given the permission for the institution, that's LASUTH, to recruit new nurses, it still needs to be addressed. Spoke about how some of the retired nurses should do more to
make up for
the damage, make up for the ugly news that is going around. But we are going to be discussing the brain drain. We're going to be discussing brain drain in the health sector. We talk a lot about doctors, but now we're seeing 35% of nurses have left. Just one hospital is recording this figure, which means that if we are doing a census of all the other hospitals, we might be getting similar, if not worse, reports from them as well. We all know what the issues are, but the question is, what would we expect the government's response to be at this time to this particular situation? Should the government say UK should not give anybody visas if you are a nurse, or what can the government do at this point in time?
The government can only ensure by providing everything the hospitals need to thrive. That's all they can do. You can't stop citizens from deciding to seek greener pasture. You sure? You cannot. You can't make that law. It's not possible because, first of all, you are not the one that trained them in school. You did not choose the profession for them. And they are in a profession where it's no longer beneficial. They are no longer feeling appreciated in what they are doing. Everybody has the right to decide, okay, I don't want to be a nurse again, I want to sing. Would you stop me from following another passion if this passion is not paying? So what I see is the government needs to walk their talk. The government cannot walk their talk when they have an option. And I don't want to be sounding like a broken record. If we want to fix this, because I know that in every hospital that I have been to, the nurses are more of the bedrock, even more than the doctors. They do more of the work. The bulk of the work comes to their table. They are the ones that will take your vitals. They are the ones that would, take your, your weights. They will check you. They run the tests, the labs, and all that before they now bring in the doctor who just sees you, and probably there's a procedure that needs to be done. While in the theater, we have more nurses than the doctor. You could just have one doctor and several nurses who are assisting and doing everything. And Nigerians have had to resort to even nurses in their private homes to give them a form of treatment. So they are very important parts. If we're afraid that the doctors are leaving, we should be scared that the nurses are leaving, because that means a total decay of our hospital system will be happening. So government needs to tell themselves the truth. What can we do in terms of providing everything these people need? You travel abroad. You know how much you pay for the services. Why don't you ask, how can we ensure that these people are up to par? How do we ensure that they have everything that they need? A lot of them, you go to hospitals, you don't see oxygen, you don't see this. You are in dire emergency, and you are hearing things like you need to pay for this, you need to buy this, or this is not available.
Buy gloves.
This is not available at the moment. So the government needs to tell themselves, tighten their belts in a way that, for now, can they even stop traveling so that they will use these hospitals and feel what we are feeling? Maybe they'll sit up.
They don't want to die.
Now we supposed to die.
I'm in support of BC, but I'm not going to government. I thought it's far. Government in the hospital first. Let's stop ourselves.
Good.
And presently, since Friday, I've been visiting a public hospital within Lagos State, and to God who made me, the shock of seeing the urine from the waste septic tank float to the working area where people will pass, and the stench of it. I wonder, who is the CMD of this hospital?
It's been the same.
That
hospital
Thanks.
It has been the same since like 10 years ago when I gave birth there.
So all past CMDs of that hospital should be probed, because you know why? I was in a public hospital, the one I told you about. I was there. And even the FMC, that one in Yaba, I visit there regularly to see my auntie. I see the work the CMDs are putting in. That FMC, I will say it here. I don't know who the CMD is. I don't know his name. But I must say, well
feeling
done.
the impact.
My father-in-law passed in that hospital. I will say, well done, sir. There's even a lift. They put a lift for some of their patients who they see that there's a difficulty. They found that hospital that is as old as railway compound and found a way to put in a lift for their patients within that hospital under the watch of a CMD. President Buhari did not go there. The Minister for Health did not get there. Somebody is managing that place and thinking, I must do well under my watch. And so the nurses working under him will wait.
They'll be inspired.
But you see that one that I'm going now, I'm going to cover name because I'm hoping that I talk with the commissioner. That hospital, the CMDs, all past CMDs for 10 years behind, must be probed. As in, EFCC must be on their case. How can their water is not working? Patients carry buckets in this state of Lagos, inside that hospital. Nothing is working. The AC in a private ward is not working. Somebody goes somewhere to switch it off. I don't even know what they are running in that place. That place is like,
I think, please mention the
that place made.
Please mention
the name.
You have to
Please
mention the
name.
name.
Allow this.
I will mention on your behalf.
No, when you are talking your own.
Okay, you know the place.
Because this goes, see, I know why I'm waiting.
Yes.
You know me. I know why I'm waiting.
Because there's still somebody receiving healthcare.
I know why I'm waiting on this. The truth is, Tokwe, in that hospital, it made sense to me. When I was on bed rest with my son's pregnancy in a government hospital, one of the doctors jokingly called us inmates. And we accepted the title. You know that sitting in that hospital made it make sense that this is really a prison.
Hey.
Somebody must be punished for falling sick to visit this place. I went in disguise till date. I think they don't know who I am. I've been going there since Friday. They still don't know who I am because whenever, we have to mask up. And I put on my glasses. I go in disguise. I'm sure if they know, they'll start to pretend.
There's nothing we can
see
pretend.
The state of this place. I wish Governor Sanwo-Olu will visit this place.
We need to mention the place
Don't
then.
worry.
Yeah, no,
Because
if you know the place.
they should go underground. Septic tanks caving in.
God, don't even mention.
The water in a hospital.
So,
government
because if we don't mention, people will not sit up. And sometimes we need to call people.
Yes, call them.
So
I believe that there are some people in that hospital who are hoping that you would say
mention
something.
the name.
Because there's corruption. Corruption happens everywhere. And there are some people that feel that if only somebody with influence...
It's the Bagada General Hospital. That hospital is not as old as FMC, as Island Maternity, and it is in that state. For mismanagement, the CMDs don't go far to government, leave government, because the funds that come to the hospitals come to the hospitals.
Yeah.
And the
funds that comes to the hospitals. You need to see that place.
Miriam.
She has said it all.
Yes.
CMDs, people will just need to sit up.
Yeah.
The truth is, the exodus of our healthcare personnel and workers is a symptom of what is really going on in our country. People would not leave if it was working well.
Yeah.
And where they are leaving to, if it was the same as here, they won't go there. And if this was better, we will see an exodus of people from other countries to our own country. There is a fundamental problem. There's a problem of infrastructure, but there's also, for me, everything rests on corruption. Monies that have been budgeted and assigned for a project or for infrastructural maintenance and development is not used, or it is used half-half. Salaries are meant to be paid. There have been cases where we hear about salaries that were already paid by the federal government. The hospital administration finds a way to hold off on those salaries. They are not paid immediately because they have put them in some sort of account to generate some money for the, those in admin. And so all these things, whether we like it or not, come together, and then we have a situation like this. People would leave for economic reasons. Everybody is looking for better, a better life, a better lifestyle. And if your country can provide that for you, who would want to leave? It's unfair to call it, I think you said it's a sad, frustrating news, that the exodus of these nurses is a sad and frustrating news. The sadness for me is that we're not doing what we're meant to do. Is that our healthcare is falling on the wayside. The infrastructure, I know you're talking of this Bagada hospital, but there are so many other hospitals, government hospitals, just like this.
I have to My God,
see, you cannot even, there are some hospitals, you cannot use their bathroom. You'll be a patient in the hospital, but you will go home, use the bathroom, have a bath, and come back and lay down on the bed. It happens all the time in many hospitals. And the truth is, until we hear from the, like with us, we're hearing, okay, people have not paid us this amount, and that's why, until we hear from the CMDs of the amount of money that's meant to come from federal government and hasn't come to them too. You know, we are not sure of that. So everything is intertwined. ASU, it's not where ASU is one, is going on another, where on the front page today, they're saying that the ASU members are upset and they're also leaving. Everybody is upset. If we do not come together right now and face our problem, realizing that we ourselves are the problem.
Mostly the problem.
Everybody will just find their way out.
We'll take a quick break. When we return, we'll continue the conversation on what the government can do, what we can do as people to support the challenges in the health sector and reduce the brain drain currently in Nigeria. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing the brain drain, specifically about the nurses. So we spoke about the fact that a report came out that 35% of LASUTH nurses had moved from their jobs. And even though the LASUTH management has the potential to employ, my worry is when we re-employ people, they don't have the experience of those that have gone. And Nima opened a can
of worms,
very, very
literal
massive
worms.
Can of worms about the management. Because what you take, what you condone will thrive. You can have a different management that does not condone filth, dirt, being late. I'm in school. If I'm 2 minutes after 10 a.m. in class, they close the door, no matter who you are. The door has closed. They say that's the LBS model. If you are late, you are not going to get into class. So by virtue of the environment where I find myself, I cannot be late. That's because the management puts in structure. So the conversation to all of us is about what are the areas of management, because it seems that we have to do the job of teaching and giving reorientation to some of our people, because they are used to doing things.
The job, Abby. So
they've been doing things a particular way, and so we need to now create a new structure, a new system, so we can achieve a different result.
So you've got a job to oversee the management of the hospital, and young people on the streets will be telling you how to do your job. We need to sit up. Nigerians need to do what is expected to do at the right time that is done. The issue of management is a problem that cuts across every strata of government. We have that issue, and that's why some people will swear that no matter what happens, they will never find themselves in a government hospital. Because we've had this issue for years, even growing up. It wasn't this bad at the time I was growing up, because then a lot more people were patronizing, even the government at the time, and leaders were patronizing government hospitals. So it was a bit better. But it's getting worse by the day. And we just sit down and nothing is happening. My question will be, what is the job of the Ministry of Health? What is their function? Do you give somebody a job, give somebody funds and resources to handle that job, and go and sit in your office? Who is supposed to supervise what the CMDs are doing? I was reading here some of the functions of the Federal Ministry of Health. It said it supervises and controls health facilities. It supervises hospital governing boards, government health agencies. The purpose of this supervision and control of health facilities is simply to make sure that a minimum standard in private and public healthcare facilities is maintained. Who is going around to ensure that this minimum standard is maintained? Nobody. So we have funds that are being sent to these government hospitals, maybe from the federal government allocation, and what they're supposed to get yearly. They collect this money and nobody's checking the standard of the facility. Nobody's checking the equipment. Nobody's checking the human capital. Nobody is checking anything. How can you go to a hospital and you are seeing septic tank? Nobody's checking. When last did an official of government go there to check to see that this hospital is in good shape? What will happen is when they want to come, they will announce, we are coming, and then everybody will tidy up. And after they are gone, everybody goes back. So we all need to take responsibility. The CMDs, the people in the Ministry of Health, they need to tell us what their functions are. It's taxpayers' money, and we're not getting value for that money.
Listen, you will not understand how painful this thing is. I still believe that there's ineptitude in Nigeria, but there's what's worse than ineptitude? There's a I don't care ineptitude that is even worse than ineptitude. You know why I would say that way? I used the government hospital. When I was in the mother and child care hospital in Festac with my son's pregnancy, my first 2 months were my best months there. I did not know the chief medical director of that hospital at all. I think Yaniwura or something. I did not know his name. But you know what? This man would make every single staff sit up. The generators were working. The AC was blast on. I disguised for 2 months. Nobody knew who I was. And I was on bed rest, and I was going to stay for 6 months because the AC was always cold. So I always had my blanket over my face. And I could stay in that way, in that position, for 2 straight months. Nobody knew who I was. The moment they changed that man, another person came in, nonchalant attitude, same thing. And everything started to go down under his watch. And the moment I started to say, I'm keeping notes, and a few staff will hear me say, I'm keeping notes, decided to say, how do we discharge this person? My consultant refused to discharge me, saying that, her case is not want to go home. She must be on bed. He kept saying, but if we can manage. I heard all those feedbacks. Because rather than do the right thing, you don't want to be exposed.
Yeah.
That's what is happening at Bagada. The moment you say, governor is coming, the people, the person who is supposed to clean the toilet, who did not clean the toilet for 12 hours straight and is closing his shift.
Let me tell you.
He's waiting for somebody to come and tell him that the money they are paying you for, you have not done the job.
Yep.
And the person is selling something inside the office, inside the hospital.
Yes. Everybody is selling market.
My sister.
Alaji, welcome to the show. Good morning. Olajumoke.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Sophia.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Actually, I'm the first.
Oh, welcome to the show.
Yeah. Concerning General Hospital, when I saw it on TV, I was so much interested. The government needs to check them. For me, I don't visit General Hospital because of what they do, negligence and all kinds of things. For the fact that they are public hospitals, the government needs to work on them. I think they need to adopt mystery shoppers. When they don't know people who are coming, they need to go around. They know what these people are doing. Not until when the governor is coming or when anybody is coming or when the commissioner of health is coming. That is when they need to sit tight. They need to adopt mystery shopping.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Olajumoke. And we've had that system before. I remember clearly everyone was always talking about how under the administration of former Governor Fashola, there was a lot of mystery shopping. You can show up in your local government. That was unannounced. He can show up in the hospital.
In disguise.
Of course, it would be easy to disguise for him because he never used to have entourage of siren blaring, but there were specific cases where he would come into the office in the civil service. Civil servants there were up
on their toes.
Because
they never know when
he could just come in now. And if he comes in and he sees you trading or doing what you shouldn't be doing, that's the end. So there was a level of everybody on their toes, and that's the power of leadership. And that's the power that the CMD has. It can make that change by just being there, and everybody will just sit up.
So you see, when we say that government, people in government, politicians, high, top-level people have to use the facilities we have on ground. They have to. Easy. You don't even need to be doing your disguise and coming in mystery shopping. You don't need to. If you know that your governor sometimes uses this facility, you know that your commissioner, anyone that could check and balance you would sit up. So it's just easy. It works for us. So it's not when people, when we talk like this and people are saying, everybody has the right to travel abroad. Everybody has the, as a government official, the money I'm making to go abroad for my treatment is not the money I made from Nigeria. We get that. It's okay. We get it. But we're saying that you can make it better. If you use the facilities here, just knowing that the governor's child can be treated here, or the commissioner's child is treated, or a minister's child is here, or the minister himself, they will sit up. The CMD will be so careful to make sure that the facility under him is doing well. That the infrastructure, and then even you, when you come, you understand the infrastructure. Imagine if a minister himself is in a hospital, and then there's a sewage tank, open or smell everywhere.
If he's coming for his surgery, they would fix everything just because he's coming. Let's take this.
People will lose their jobs. So it's important that we use what we have, and then we understand exactly what Nigerians are talking about.
Exactly. Dupe, welcome to the show. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Dupe.
First caller.
Welcome to the show.
My view, what you are saying, all our hospitals in Nigeria needs to be taken care of. The government is not doing They're not providing anything. The whole hospital is in a mess. Then that gives the nurses opportunity to be doing whatever they like. How do you go to government hospital and they turn the place to marketplace? Selling.
Everybody.
The nurse will bring his own things to them. Outsiders will come. They don't even have time for patients. The government needs to do something. The management too should do something to improve our medical care. Thank you.
So, I wanted to quickly say that, government is by, delegating. Government cannot be one person in one place everywhere. So that's why there has a CMD there, who's there every day to oversee that every other function, every other office is functioning. Whose business is it to not see a septic tank leak out or a dark hall in a hospital that you have to use your phone torchlight to climb staircase?
Wow.
When you know that staircase is slippery, who's supposed to make sure that this facility, when it's not working well, will write to the governor and ensure that the facility managers are called? Because I know Lagos State, under Ambode, we interviewed a facility manager who said they work for government. They have facility managers who will come there and say, water is not working, the staircase are not working, the rails are dropping, rusted walls within the hospital. This is not a hospital. And I know how much intervention they got during COVID because they had a COVID ward in that place. Things like that. The only place I had seen in that place that I had visited before that was working was the blood bank. Because I went to donate blood. We need to start visiting this hospital. And I will not stop using the government hospital, public hospitals. The reason I won't stop using it is as long as I'm on this table, I will keep using them.
I actually really trust the professionalism in terms of the skills that they have.
They do.
So I would think towards general hospitals just because of the quality of the doctors I will see there. But the facility will continue to... The facility so far has been frustrating. We really can never...
Workers' attitude. Yeah. Somebody has to check. I know they have the public charter. They check nurses. But when you come to that place and everybody's just... that means there's a corporation of corruption there.
It's become a systemic decay. Yes, it's become a systemic decay. We will definitely continue to talk about brain drain. It's something that is not going to stop anytime soon, and we need to keep reminding and pulling the ears of our leaders that majority of Nigerians still have to use general hospital. That's their only option, and they shouldn't have to use a place where you would not even want to step your foot into as their only resort for healthcare. That's what we can take. When we return, we'll move on to our Let's Talk for the day. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.